back to Discovering Disabilities in Dearborn. Today we are joined by special guest Khodr Farhat. Khodr, so nice to have you here finally in person. We wanted this episode forever, and I'm sure you have a lot of valuable information to offer and share with our community.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate it, Rashad. I want to thank the rest of the team. I appreciate you all. Thank you for all that you do. Happy early Mother's Day to all of our listeners out there, and we shall have a great day. Alhamdulillah, I'm here. I'm honored. The honor is all mine, and looking forward to this, and I can't wait.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so I guess first question we'll start with is tell us a little bit more. Well, it's not really a question, but tell us a little bit more about your disability and
Sure.
And when you kind of came to the realization that you had a disability.
Yeah. So I was born blind, and this happened a long time ago, 30 years ago. Well, it'll be 30 years.
Don't tell on yourself like that.
Yeah, I know. It'll be, actually, I'll be 31 in 1 month. So
Happy early birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. So life is flying. I was born in Lebanon, and that's when everything started, and that's where everything started. Beirut, Lebanon, Beirut in specific. You know, it's on the airport highway. And it's not inherited. That is the interesting part medically, and you guys are doctors in here, so you guys have to find out where this came from. It's one out of a million cases, they said. Nobody on my mom's side nor my dad's side had any visual impairment. But alhamdulillah, of course, for everything, God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has a reason behind everything. Since we are speaking out of this holy house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Islamic Institute of America, I want to thank him so much for, housing us over here. So I'm very thankful, very grateful. As a kid, used to play outside, did everything though. So that's where I noticed, when I was able to run around and want to try to bike, play soccer, you know how Lebanon is, running around on the streets and in the neighborhoods and stuff like that. But again, I had to live a normal life, and I was hanging around with sighted kids. We did everything, man. Cross streets, play soccer, rode a motorcycle, a bike, fell many billion times, but that's when it happened. I was very young, 3 years old.
Well, I love the positive mindset that you have. I think this is very, very important, right? Because a lot of times people will be in states where the world can seem like it's ending or the sky is falling, right? And getting out of those is just as important as learning how to navigate and not getting back into those situations again. So for you, when did you develop this positive mindset, and how have you maintained it for so long?
It's quite hard, to be honest with you, to live with a challenge, such as, visual impairment or not able to hear or walk or talk, or a combination of a bunch of those. But I started to carry and adopt such mindset when I first started to become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's when I was 6 years old. When I was 6 years old, I started to go to the mosque overseas every single day, to Ashura, to listen to all of the lectures. And obviously, I was born, and raised in Al-Mubarrat, for Sayyid Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and, I was in a private school for the differently abled, and that was an Islamic school. So the closer I became to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the stronger the faith that I had, the clearer vision that I had. That yes, I do like one thing in one area, but doesn't mean that the world is over. Doesn't mean that we can't do anything further. So the hardest part, to be honest with you, beside carrying on this positivity, is tapping into my potential. Like where my potential is. Okay, I can't see. I cannot do a lot of stuff how you guys do it, or how a sighted person can do it. So where is my strength? How I can work on elevating my weaknesses. And I worked on both. I realized the beauty of this life without having eyesight. That's why, if you notice, a lot of my campaign or my initiative slogans are, it doesn't take sight to have a vision, because it's the truth. I don't need to see you to know how valuable you are.
Wonderful slogans. We'll get to the campaign aspect
you.
in a bit. So how was your immigration to the States? Like,
Great
how was
question.
that process? Was it, well, I guess, at that age that you were when you immigrated, would
Yeah.
you know if it was an easy process or not? I don't know.
Speaking of immigration, and our home country and the region over there. I'd love to send, my sincere condolences to Arwah Shuhada, that they are falling to this barbaric war that is taking over in Gaza. And we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put an end to that and to spread peace, everywhere, speaking, about that. And that's why I immigrated. I mean, part of it is even 15 years ago, I mean, it wasn't stable. It wasn't the utmost perfect place for me to live, especially with my visual impairment. I mean, come on, if those that are physically able are immigrating and are leaving, so what do you think about me? So my dad thought this country is going to be much better for work, for education, for a possible medical innovation or treatment. So I came here in 2009. I was 15 years old when I came over here, and no, it was very difficult. I didn't use any of the technology for the blind over here. I didn't know the language at all. Didn't know anybody except for a few family members. But again, going back to that strong faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of having that, endless belief that no matter what it is, Allah will be there for me. Went through it. I went to Lincoln Park High because they do have the program for the visually impaired. I finished on time, graduated. I was able to compete with the natives amongst the highest in my class who graduated. Then went to Henry Ford, got my degree in special ed because that's dear and near to my heart. And then after that, man, I said, you know what? We need some sort of advocacy in the community. So after I finished my 2 year at Henry Ford, I majored in political science. And since then, so we're talking now, being an advocate for the past almost now 12, 13 years, it's been nothing but fruitful. And I was able to mitigate a lot of those challenges. And now, because I went through a lot of that hardship, I don't want others to go through the same. So that's really mainly why I did this. A lot of families didn't even acknowledge their kids having a disability, but after they saw that I'm not really, ashamed to talk about it, to bring it up, to all different officials, whether it could be imams, could be elected officials, could be appointed, could be governmental, nonprofits, service organizations, everybody. I made sure to spread the word in the utmost positive way. We're not here asking for any, special privileges or passes or emotions or, just a tap on the shoulder in a sympathetic way, which is all of those are great and appreciated. Don't get me wrong. But no, we want to make sure that our employers know that we are capable. Our schools know that we are capable. Our community knows that we are capable. And therefore, we have to find a place for our own at the table. If we are not at the table, man, guess where we're going to be? In the menu. So, yeah, I'd rather be at the table, having a seat. My voice is being heard, and I'm voicing my concerns rather than me being a piece of steak on the menu for people to eat. That's exactly what it is.
Very well said. So in that whole process, right, of you majoring in political science, of you like being a public speaker, in that time since then, have you like accumulated or gathered like a strong team who always like works with you, who was motivated by you?
Yeah, I do. Honestly, I do have a lot of great brothers and sisters that, we are like family. Now, we might not see each other every single day. Could be we haven't seen each other like in weeks and months sometimes. It depends, how it is nowadays. Life, will pack you up with unexpected stuff. But yes, I am motivated by them. They are motivated by me. There's always going to be that mutual chemistry some way, somehow, And you guys are part of this, honestly. You guys are younger professionals. I extremely commend you guys for taking on medical school. I mean, it's no easy field of studies. For taking time out of your busy schedules to do this very initiative that we are on right now, which is much appreciated. You cannot imagine how many people might be benefited from this. If you're able to change one person's life only, I'm not going to say 2, 3, 4, and 10 and 20, which I'm pretty sure it's more than one. I'm just saying, can you imagine what a great thing you are going to do if you change one person's life only from being negative, being degraded, downgraded, broken, into someone who realizes that, yeah, I can do something. I can be someone. I can succeed. I can get above all and break all the barriers and become somebody who is successful. And that's really all about this. So it's about teamwork. It's about our community. When I say community, I mean Dearborn, Dearborn Heights, and beyond. You know, since we're in Dearborn Heights now, and since I live in Dearborn, and that's where 90% of my work is, because you got to start working on improving your own area first before you branch out, right? So it's all about improving and making sure that everybody is treated with respect, equality, equity, and being included. That's really what matters.
I do want to thank you for your kind words, and also just so again, none of this is possible without the community, right? Like coming together is one of the most important things we can do, especially for initiatives like this, and for to strengthen the community and the bond of people in general, but also to empower those with disabilities and those who are having issues that like don't allow them to have a voice, or a voice as loud as we'd like it to be, right?
Sure.
So thank you for your work in the community and everything you've done.
It's my pleasure. You know, though, let me add one thing, if you don't mind, is that a lot of people, they want to help. A lot of people, they want to support. They want to pave the way and they want to pay it forward. But a lot of them sometimes are hesitant. They are scared how I can deal with this situation. I had never dealt with it. Like employers, you know, I always tell them, guys, we have a lot of highly qualified, trained, educated, certified, licensed professionals that happen to be differently abled. And just to be honest with you, and I might be biased here, but realistically I'm not. The differently abled community brings forward one of the most hardworking, ambitious, committed, dedicated employees that you will ever meet. And I know what I'm talking about. I start with myself. I know a lot of cases. I follow through with a lot of cases at different employers. You know, they are the first to show up to work. They work with integrity and honesty. They do the best job that they can do, and they make everybody happy and inspired around them. And that's what we need. We need that positive environment. Our school, the same thing. Our classrooms, our professors, our community, as far as public accommodations. When we are included, when you feel that you're included, you will give the best that you have. But when you feel that you're excluded, okay, I mean, you're gonna take your own spot. You're gonna stay by yourself, or why not? You know, you might even go ahead and give me a negative reaction. So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that everybody is loved. Everybody knows that you know, they are important. You know, and that's how we move forward for a prosperous future.
I definitely agree with everything you said about inclusivity right there, and especially like I've seen it myself, right? Like I go to Tim Hortons sometimes, or I've gone to Kroger sometimes, and even the Step Store right here on Ford Road, and you see people with disabilities working, but they're happy to be at work. It's not like, you know, and I'm not saying other people are miserable to be at work. I'm just saying like they're willing to do what they're doing, right? They're willing to help you. They want to see those smiles on your faces. So definitely a great point that you made right there about feeling included and how that can aid in just doing work for the community, right?
Yes.
Okay, so a lot of what you have said so far has to do with motivation. I want to ask you personally, what motivated you to run for like school board position, director of school board, city council? What was your motivating factor?
It is for all the above reasons. Honestly, it is for all the reasons that we had mentioned. I felt like we lack representation, accurate representation for the differently abled community and their families. Don't forget that those differently abled people, they have families, they have guardians, they have parents, they have sisters and brothers and cousins and neighbors, and a lot of them, they do struggle. If I do not go through whatever the thing is myself, I might not deliver the best results, no matter how many degrees I have. If I just don't live it, if I just don't feel with you, at least, honestly, I'm not going to deliver the best results. So when I look around our district, which I respect every single staff member from, you know, the superintendent to all the admins to the teachers, janitors, lunchroom ladies and gentlemen, everybody. Honestly, I'm in touch greatly with every single person of those, and our families and our students, everyone, social workers, speech therapists. You know, I heard one thing: we need stronger voice on the Board of Education. We need to make sure that everybody is aware of our needs, and given that it's a personal story for me as well, having gone through a lot of those challenges myself, I said, you know what, that time, and I lost by 13 votes. Yeah, I mean, I remember knocking on thousands of doors with the help of a great team, honestly, and I just cannot, stress enough how I'm thankful to all of them, before I forget, or I mean, I don't want to mention, names because I don't want to forget anyone, because honestly, I can't stress enough, because I could have not done anything without everybody's help. It could be as tiny as giving me an advice, a tap on the shoulder. So when we used to knock on the doors, a lot of people, they told me, just because you came up to my doorsteps and you're blind and you're qualified and this and that, I'm going to vote for you. And some, they asked me, okay, how can you do this and you're blind? And when I explained to them, when they saw what we can do and how we do things, they were convinced. Some of them, they did not vote for me. They considered me young and blind, So the cool thing about my profile, honestly, without any bragging, certainly, is that I belong to diversity in many different ways. First off, I'm Muslim, I'm Arab American, I'm brown, I'm blind. So, you know what I mean? I can put on many hats, as I talk about diversity and inclusion. And election, I think, presented to people with all humbleness a much better example of someone with a disability, a self-made advocate who did not inherit any business, money, or political name, to come forward and compete with people that have been in politics for at least 3 decades. And to earn 12,288 votes, losing by 13 votes only. Yeah, I lost. I admit, but I think I lost with dignity and integrity, because in my book, I won people's heart and trust, and that can't be bought no matter what the price tag is.
And that's a gain, yeah. Right? So you got that whole experience.
Yeah.
You gained all those supporters, and it didn't discourage you from staying true to what you believe in and who you are, right?
Well, I went after the city council after that. Why? Not because I'm jumping from rope to the other. No. Not because I'm a politician and I'm looking for any kind of position. That's no, too. It's because we suffer from both ends as disabled people, and that's what people sometimes don't understand. Those who are looking only through the political lens, they say, well, you should have, stayed, on the school board race. Like, you should have not had run to city council in 2021. You should have waited until the next school board. Say, well, look, man, we have issues on both ends, and I have been working with both entities because they are separate. Some people do not know that the city and the school board are separate entities. Yeah, they do have some partnerships, but they are totally unrelated, organizational. So I said, I've been working with all the previous administrations, even citywide, and with our current administration. And, so we have things to get done, and even city council. Yeah, again, I lost by maybe 150 votes, which is a city council, just so you guys know, is a much more politicized seat compared to the school board. It's much more politics, much more, hey, scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And here's the thing, my principles, my values are not and will never be for sale. So if I'm not happy with supporting one thing that you're trying to convince me, I'm going to say it even on the campaign trail. Honestly, you might say, oh, that's not smart thing to do or to say. I can tell you, well, hey, I look after my life. All right, sooner or later, I'm going to fall down dead. Okay, at that point, who's going to help me? God is going to say, oh, yeah, man. You said something, and then you went ahead, you did the opposite. So, again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always with me. I always feel that he's watching over. And that's the best feeling ever, alhamdulillah. I will never betray my community. I will never betray the people that I serve daily. By saying something and doing something else, or by, fighting for certain, rights, and then all of a sudden I would be just, doing the opposite, looking for my own, after my own personal gains and interests. I will never do that. That's a promise.
And that's very much appreciated by all of us here and all of the community too. And everybody certainly.
I appreciate you.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for listening. We hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. If you or someone you know would be interested in being a guest on the podcast, or if you have any feedback, please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Dream Dearborn, or on our website at dreamdearborn.org, or on our email at disabilitiesproject@umich.edu. Thank you. Okay. Now, I read a little bit about you within the last year being appointed to, and I may butcher this, the Michigan Rehabilitation
Service.
Service?
Michigan Council of Rehabilitation Services.
Okay, can you talk a little bit about your role?
Yeah, sure. So MCRS is a body that advises the governor, it's self-explanatory as far as the name. It's Council of Rehabilitation Services. Any of our differently abled citizens statewide, which is, did you hear this? You know that 25% of Michigan is disabled? 25%.
Wow.
2 million, if not even more now, are disabled. By which, Wayne County have over 300,000 disabled out of our 2 million population. Yes, and that's why I'm working with the county now too, with Wayne County government, to do something. Because if you're not going to do something now, it's going to get worse down the road. So those 2 million members, and again, you have to remember, 2 million, they have family members, they have parents,
right,
they have guardians, they have doctors, they have therapists. So it's a whole big network and team that they are working to ensure the advancement and the well-being of those individuals. They need a body statewide on the state level to say, hey, that's what we need, that's how we want to get it, and that's how it's going to be done. And that's exactly this body was all about. So they bring forward much more initiatives, ideas, thoughts. They vote on a lot of stuff. Now, is it enough? No. I mean, we're far from done, but hey, we've come a long way. We've come a long way. Our unemployment rate amongst our disabled people had gone down tremendously. Yeah, in the U.S., it's still, I think, 65% of disabled people are not employed. I get it. That's a very gigantic number.
Mm-hmm.
Case by case varies, obviously. There are different factors, for different reasons, for everything. But we've come a long way. I see our employers are much more receptive. They accept more now. They tolerate. So that's what the MCRS is all about. Spreading advocacy, awareness, and ensuring that the state government is pushing those issues forward.
Are you able to work directly with people of the community, or is it just more so like on the team?
No, just like a council.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly. We bring a lot of feedback. I mean, that's why if you notice, if you take a look at the roster, they are members from different regions of the state. Now, I went through some family issues that I had to step down. Okay, so I'm no longer, as we talk today, I'm no longer part of that, but I'm still in touch with a lot of those members and with the governor office, to ensure everything is moving forward, is being advanced, But yeah, that's why the body of that council comes from different regions of the state to ensure that every region is covered to the best of their ability. So they have presidents of different organizations. They have advocates like myself. There are professionals, public speakers, public policy makers. Just it's a mix, just to ensure that we're doing the right thing down the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also did want to ask about whether you worked closely with like students in schools, or
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my current job, is over at Lincoln Park High. That's my home high school. I do work with their students, with their office, with their special ed department, specifically the VI. I do a range of different tasks. And I do mainly, meet with a lot of students through all my speaking engagements. Could be in Dearborn Heights, Allen Park, Taylor, Birmingham, Livonia, Pontiac, Bloomfield, West Bloomfield, Flint, and Grand Rapids. Lansing was my last one. Yeah, so we do have quite a few, we have a fan, as we say, of school districts that we are instantly in touch with. And I meet with all the students, not only the special needs. Obviously, we give that a extra push to make sure that they are in attendance, to make sure that if there's anything I can do to help them forward. But I meet with the general body, and believe it or not, from my own humble engagement with them for the past 10 years, with all of our students, they need more support and motivation than our differently abled students. Believe it or not, you think that, oh yeah, because they can walk and talk and see and hear and read and this and that, that they are perfect, they are happy. Believe it or not, a lot of them, they just are lost. They don't know the value or the purpose behind why they are even alive. Believe it or not, and that makes me so sad because, whatever God has, blessed us with, it means that that it has a valuable reason behind it, right? God gave you eyes for a reason, give you your ears for a reason, give you your arms and legs for a reason. So for me not to use all of those blessings, okay, and someone else without one sense or more than one sense, without any of them, is excelling and doing something great, I think this is going to shake you. And that's what I'm always happy to do. When I speak, I go and I meet with a lot of those students and their teachers, and they are happy, and I always get their feedback, and I do meet a lot of them after they finish middle school or high school. And until now, I do run to some students randomly. They say, oh, remember when you came to my school in Taylor and, bunch of years ago, and, this X word, stayed in my mind, and I feel happy because I was able to change one person's life. And that's what I'm doing here too, by the way. I'm here not only to talk, but to make sure that people know, no matter what the challenge that you have, no matter what it is, God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is up there, aiding you, whether we know it or not. So we shall never lose faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost, and in ourselves. We always have a way to do it. If there's a will, there's a way.
Right. I agree with you 100%. I did also want to ask, just going based off what you said, about like the students sharing with you years later about their memories and that one word that stuck in their mind from your presentation, from your speech to them. Do you have any like success stories, or is there one particular success story that like stands out a lot and has like deeply affected you?
Absolutely. I do have couple stories. Honestly, there are a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say no to that. There are a lot of them, but there are a couple that really stood the most. One time, a student was a drug addict. He was sitting among the students, and he was in attendance. He refused to come in first. When his teacher, presented the opportunity and said, hey, today we've got a speaker. And after I finished, he came up and he shook my hand. And then 1 month later, I got a text from his teacher saying, remember that XY student, he's 180 degrees changed. He's back on track, doing his work, appreciating every single sense and ability that God has blessed him with. And I always tell him, guys, you guys are all smart. We all have a certain potential. Again, we have to know where is it and how to use it. That's what it is. Yeah, it is hard. I know. I mean, I wasn't born in an affluent environment, so on top of my blindness, you have to deal with the everyday, regular life stress, right? Okay, but you have people that, are physically able. Yeah, they can see, you might tell me, but they might have something else, sure. But one challenge, is different than the other challenge. So challenges vary. And another one is someone who did not want to continue high school, but they came back, they finished their GED, and they went to college. They graduated, they are married, they bought a house, and they are living one heck of a lifestyle. So it's about that word, man, about that kind word that you can give out, a sadaqah. See, everything circles back to religion, honestly. If we practice religion in a moderate, logical way, without you knowing it, you are changing something. You're convincing somebody without even arguing with them. When I smile at you, that's a sadaqah, and that's going to make your day a better one, regardless if you're going to admit it or not. You know, if I give you a tap on the shoulder and say, hey, man, you've got this, you can do it. You know, I mean, I'd rather say or do something good, because if I don't have anything to say or do, I'm going to stay quiet. That's really how I go by it.
And people don't usually think that that like those simple words, like "you got this," simple phrases they'll make a difference, but they actually do. Like
they do.
And even if they don't, right? Say they don't for somebody, okay? If you stick with it and you keep saying that, there eventually will be somebody who that'll.
Well, at least you're gonna make somebody positive like you.
Right.
I mean, I'd rather be positive than being negative, always frowning, always negative and not optimistic. I mean, yeah, I don't win all the time. Life doesn't give me what I want all the time. But, hey, I can't give up. There's no way to give up.
Right. So with the struggles that you faced, right, immigrating from a different country, having a disability.
Assimilating to the whole culture and society. When I first went to high school, again, remember, I was in a private school overseas. And private school overseas meaning we only had maybe 300 students, and who were disabled. Like it housed all the disabilities out there that you can think of: blindness, deaf, autism, learning disabled, speech impaired, you name it, man. All the different challenges out there. So we were not integrated into the large society. That's number one. So coming over here and on the other side, I was in a public school with everybody else with over 1,000 students. Over there, we don't change classrooms, for example. Here we do. It's different lifestyle, So I had to memorize a school building. Then in college, I had to memorize a campus. They have Braille numbers, but before I can even know where the room is, I mean, I can't, I have to memorize what the building is. I can't see the signs or the building letters or what have you. I had to compete with the natives. I had to prove that despite everything, I can do it, because especially in high school, they wanted to send me to Dearborn schools to do like the bilingual curriculum. So I would be doing the same curriculum in English in the morning in Lincoln Park, and then come down to Dearborn to do the same exact one but in Arabic. And I said, no. I said, I'm going to be responsible fully, whether I fail or I succeed. And I spent days and weeks and months just reading English, studying English, speaking English. I didn't care if I made mistakes or not, people laugh at me or not. I wanted to prove that I can do it, and blessed to say I did. And the principal back then, who was the superintendent now, when I graduated from high school, he said, man, you made it. They thought I'm going to finish like in 5 or 6 years. And I don't blame them, by the way, because they've seen a lot of issues like that, where things were confronted with a lot of hardships and failures could be. So they were just taking the worst case scenario. But again, if I'm positive, but though without doing the work, that's not good for me either. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So people have to know this too. So by me being positive only, that's not going to do the job. Yeah, positivity is going to fuel me.
But you have to put in the work.
Yeah, with efforts, with a good spirit to do the work. Yeah, I was even 320 pounds, man. Yeah, I can say this. Yeah, I went down to 160, and now I work out. Well, I've been slacking for 2 weeks because of work, but I've been working out with one of the best professional bodybuilders in the area, and and my body now is coming back perfect, and health is wealth. So yeah, I'm dedicated in whatever I do. So if I tell you I'm gonna do something, expect the best of me, all of me.
Without a doubt,
we'll be on the line. So. Yes, sir.
That's
so
beautiful.
That's the hardest thing, man, is just getting, overcoming the hardships, the barriers, succeeding, giving back, and that's a very important part. We are not alive just to make money and save and live our life. Yeah, that's nice. If I do this, you can do this. I'm not saying it's wrong. Each person is, has the freedom to do whatever they want. But personally, I believe that I have to give back, because one of my things that I want to leave behind after I die is something good that people can remember me with. And the only way to do that, the most noticeable way that you do it, is when you do something that will leave a lasting impact. So, yeah.
Well, you've been doing an amazing job so far.
Appreciate you guys.
And there's definitely much more to come. I do want to ask you about accommodations.
Sure.
right? During that whole process of you being in school and even outside of school, did you have any accommodations growing up? What was helpful? What wasn't? Are there any improvements that?
Well, overseas, I mean, we still use a braille typers and just very traditional, old school, braille devices and stuff like that. Just the manual typers. Over here, obviously, it's much more computerized. When I came in, it's even more high tech. We do have more like a computerized braille tablets. We use computers, obviously, and laptops, and they are supported with a screen reader, just like my phone talks to me. I mean, I control it. It does not control me, but that's how I use it. It's an iPhone, just like yours, if you have an iPhone, I'm saying, except that I turn on the built-in screen reader in these settings. A lot of people don't even know that it exists, obviously, because you don't need it, right? So, alhamdulillah, so if you don't need something, you're not going to know about it much or fast enough. So it's a built-in talking program on a MacBook or laptop. We download a screen reader, and that's what we do. And that's not what I'm doing, too. I do teach visually impaired individuals, young and old, how to use those technology equipments because I know that it's going to be a great vehicle for them to land on good education, good job, recreation, independence. So that's my goal now. My goal is to teach as much as number of visually impaired people as possible how to tap into those accommodations because I know that if it wasn't for them, I can't do one bit of thing that I'm doing now, and the same thing going to be for them. So it's improving. Technology is crazy. And the only good thing about COVID is that it made every single website accessible now that everybody had to work from home. And a lot of jobs were not accessible. Their sites were not compatible. But because everybody had to work from home, they had to make it compatible. So honestly, if one good thing about COVID that not a whole lot of people might think about is this. Now we can work from home and they have to accommodate you regardless because a lot of companies until this very day didn't go back to the office fully. So to get your job done, you got to make your stuff accessible.
Okay, so I'd like to get into the dream segment now. The dream segment is basically, we ask it at the end of every podcast. It's a simple question. What is your dream? Complicated answer, for sure. But it could be your dream related to anything. So don't feel limited. And also, just what is your dream, Khodr?
My dream is to reach for the stars that I cannot see. And that sentence or phrase, it did get stuck with people for a long, long time. And what I mean by that is my dream is simply to leave, the greatest impact that I can on people in the world before I die. So whether that means later on in life, opening up a school, an institution, becoming an elected official and work on every single bill to make them a law, to make people's life better and easier, respected, honestly, that's what it is just to make sure, subhanAllah, to do whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks us to do, what does Allah expect of us to do and to accomplish in this world, and to leave the greatest impact that I can. So yeah, reaching for the stars that I can't see, no matter how hard it is, how far it is, regardless of how much time it'll take, I'm keeping at it.
You'll get to that star, even past it too. Wonderful dream. Inshallah, it becomes a reality. I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast and sharing all this wonderful information, wonderful experiences, wonderful knowledge with us, the community. And hopefully we look forward to having a second episode with you as well. At least a second episode. I mean, we can go further. Like, we'd love to have you so many times. But
I appreciate you. I thank you so much for your time as well. I wish you and the rest of the team, those that don't know that you guys are hardworking professionals as well, wish you success in your school endeavors and beyond. And I'm always happy to serve beyond this. And I want to thank our listeners for their time. And again, my name is Khodr Farhat, and I could be so easily get a hold of. If I can be of any assistance, please, guys, do not hesitate to reach out. So thank you. God bless you. Wish you much more success, and let me know how I can help you guys too.
You heard the man. Thank you so much to all our supporters watching at home. We really, really appreciate everything you've done, from your support watching this podcast to being with us in the community and sharing our information, just following our page, looking at our stuff, even viewing. It's all for the greater good. So thank you so much. Please be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at Dream Dearborn, and also check out our website, dreamdearborn.org. Until next time, peace.